Boo! I wonder if there'll ever be a time we don't do that. Also, I laughed like Woody Woodpecker. Yes, I know. I saw you catch it.
I just had a moment there. I was like,
Anyway, welcome. We've already done the jingle, so we've started it. That's going to be the beginning. We do the jingle again if you want.
Boo! I just like the boo.
Boo.
I feel there's some
countdown. Oh my God, guys, I'm so sorry. We've been stealing the countdown jingle without noticing.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't charge us. We're not going to pay it.
Honestly,
I would like to start this episode by saying that after our last podcast episode, we pressed stop recording and continued the podcast going for like an hour because we had more to talk about. So we're hoping that that'll become in a second episode. So if you heard us talking about alcohol,
yeah,
we got even deeper after that. Actually,
we got very deep and actually tears.
Yeah,
which
revelations.
I think we kind of felt like it was a natural pause at the point, and then actually it just kept going, didn't it? And yeah.
So we acknowledge that might have been possibly heavy for the people as well if you were listening. So if you did want to talk about that, you know where we are. But we're segueing into the new episode. And we actually had this was a request. This is the first official request that we're going to acknowledge. We had somebody reach out and ask us to talk about imposter syndrome because they have just got a promotion. And they are being slapped by imposter syndrome and that feeling of, just I don't deserve this and I should do all that kind of stuff. So actually what I'll do is slide right over to Jaqualin and say, if you haven't seen the reel of that, you should text me and I'll send you it. Aaron Jaqualin, because that's why we call you that. And I'll ask you to introduce imposter syndrome and what it is. As a concept, and then we'll just chat about it.
I'm so sorry you're going to expect me to be serious after calling me Jaqualin and then telling Jaqualin and then it is interesting that they call me this. Yes, so wow, imposter syndrome. Causes such a debate, like a lot of things do. Yeah, I feel because, there's so many people that are like, no, it doesn't exist, or actually maybe
it's a made-up term.
Yeah, or maybe it's a good thing. People see it a different way. Yeah. So I'll come later on to Adam Grant, who is an organisational psychologist in New York. And I loved his take on it as well. And this whole idea of different perspectives on things is something that we really enjoy, don't we?
Yes.
In terms of that. So imposter syndrome. I did a little, I've got some notes on my knee. I was doing a little bit of kind of digging because I feel I feel like it's important.
Yes.
Even though this is going to be about our opinions and thoughts on it and, what we've done that's helped us.
We thought we'd get the knowledge.
Actually have the and the definition. So it's known to be a psychological experience in which individuals doubt their abilities. Hands up if you've ever done that. Downplay accomplishments. Hands up if you've ever done that. Yeah. And fear being exposed as a fraud despite clear evidence of competence. I mean, I don't know about it. Is anybody else out there holding up their hands to one or all of those?
Put your hands in the air.
Yeah.
If you've got imposter syndrome.
Yeah, because it's like, it's that persistent self-doubt, isn't it? Despite success. I mean, even just that example of this person that's, said to us, please talk about it, understandably, because they've just been promoted. I mean, even the very essence of that, exactly. That's the bit though, isn't it? Because when this feeling comes over us, we forget that. It's gone. Yeah. It's also attributing success to luck or external factors.
Which is interesting. We've both had that conversation in the last couple of weeks, actually, when we talk about business and that feeling of like, maybe we only got clients because we're lucky.
Because we're lucky.
Which is fucking ridiculous because we don't work hard, do we?
No.
It's not what it is.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We do.
That was sarcasm in case anybody missed it.
Sure. And then fear of being found out or exposed.
Oh, fucking fear of being a fraud. I was reading up on this today, obviously when we were reading up on it together. And I was like, oh, look, it's everything I've spoken about over the last couple of weeks and my development as a human. It turns out imposter syndrome is something I really struggle with. And I talk about it a lot. I am really honest about it in my social media and things, like, because I think that imposter syndrome Oh, I mean, like it's a fucking horrible thing, and it rears its ugly head more specifically when you're going through a period of growth, because that's when it's like your body starts to question yourself. So if you wondered, I have a physics degree. I have a good physics degree from a Russell Group university. Imposter syndrome tells me I faked it. Faked my way through my physics degree. I remember saying that out loud to someone, and she was like, yeah, because you can fake a physics degree. And I was like, yeah, maybe that is a bit silly. I hadn't really considered that was a stupid thing to think, but I did. I thought I'd faked my way through a fucking physics degree. Do you know you can fake rocket science?
I mean, no.
Fake that.
There isn't an answer to that.
No.
And interesting, even on that, so as a high achieving woman, and this, because originally this was what the research was done in 1978, I believe, was on high achieving women who believed they were not intelligent and had fooled others into thinking they were capable. Hands up if you've ever thought that. I will just say though, disclaimer: this is not, imposter syndrome isn't just about women.
No,
actually, it's all genders, races, ages.
Yeah.
You know, actually, when a lot of the research now is really showing that, isn't it?
Yeah, and massively affects people in the medical and healthcare industry. Apparently,
because you read some of that, didn't you?
Yeah, on like a really just a far larger scale. But it's the impact of it, I think, which is just like exhausting, because So imposter syndrome is a recognised syndrome. So we're not making this up. It's not just some fancy term. It's a recognised syndrome that is being researched and all that kind of stuff. But it leads to heightened depression, anxiety. It leads to heightened cortisol. It can increase the risk of heart attacks, heart disease. Like it's something that we need to find a way to understand where it's coming from and work our way through. And, you know, because it's impacting people like and their lives and it's stopping people. So one of the things that I read was that it contributes to the gender pay gap, because women experience imposter syndrome often at a higher rate than men. It's not one or the other, but that is one of the things that they've looked at. And then women are less likely, because of the higher levels of cortisol, less likely to take risk factors. So what they mean by that is they're less likely to go for a promotion, because they're more likely to talk themselves into a place where they believe they don't deserve the promotion.
Yes, because this is the thing. Women feel like they need to have hit every one of the metrics that's in something.
If there are 12 points that go, these are the things that you need to have in place before you apply for this job, I would believe that.
Yeah.
Like, I would read that and be like, oh, well, I don't have that experience.
So
I don't have 3 years, so I won't apply.
That's it.
Whereas a guy might just be like,
I'll get that.
I'll get that anyway. I'll go for it. I mean, Donald Trump, you know what I mean? He didn't have any of them. He had none of it. He went for it and got it. Sorry, I won't talk about him again. Tangerine Man.
Disclaimer: if you're looking, if you are watching this on YouTube, you will have seen my face. I am not prepared to go have any conversations at this moment about that particular avenue. In the slightest, I can feel myself. Yeah, literally, I do not want to
go
at this moment.
Yeah,
maybe we'll come back, because actually,
maybe when he's not enough.
Do you know something? I think no. But I just want to come back to something that you said, which is about this whole bit about. You mentioned earlier about the levels of cortisol rising. Yeah. Cortisol is needed. We wouldn't get out of bed without it. Can we just put it out there?
And if you're getting chased by a lion, it's really important.
Yeah, exactly. So we need it.
But also not when your body thinks you're being chased by a lion and it's just an email.
And that's, or a new job that you've gone into and suddenly you're feeling like out of your depth.
Yeah.
You've got a fear of failure. You're recognising that, and because actually it's linked to perfectionism. You know, there's a lot of links here. None of this is in isolation, is it? You know, and I think this whole bit about recognising the dysregulation that can happen, and if we're already in that, you know, it just makes it feel worse, doesn't it? You know, we're in fight or flight, we're now overwhelmed by it and in functional freeze.
Yeah, in your head, you're like jumping from thought to thought. And it just feels spirally. And
there's a lot of different ways, but even just understanding that that's where our body goes and how come it's gone there.
Yeah.
Because we're faced with this new challenge and, you know, this fear of failure and not wanting to get it wrong or look like a fool or...
And all of that's protection.
Of course it is.
And it's that, isn't it? It's that acknowledgement of like, hang on. Because I guess that's where it's like, if you know, when you learn to understand your body a bit more, because I recognise it quicker now and I'll just... text you.
You do, don't you?
So yeah, I like, if I find myself, so I'll be sat at my desk and I'll be doing something and I find the things that I recognise are I jump from task to task. So I'm usually really good at prioritisation. I've got that kind of in the bag with what I do. So in the moments that something is going on for me, I lose it. I lose that ability and I start jumping from task to task because my brain's like, well, this is important and then this is important. And then what's happening behind that is there's a little voice going, and you shit at it anyway. And you can't do this and you faked your way here and you're going to... So then when I notice that, and I notice that I'm stressed out at my desk and there's no reason to be stressed out really, I'm like, oh, hang on. I'm like, what's going on? And then I'm like, I'll sort of tune back into what's going on and and then I'll generally send you a text and I'll be like, oh, I don't know what's going on, but imposter syndrome's been a little bitch today. And I'm like, this is where I'm at. But I also, for me now, the difference is it's separate from me again. We've talked about this before, haven't we? Like with the thoughts and things. But even saying that, like, I'm like, imposter syndrome's being a bitch. So I recognise that thought isn't the one I have to be listening to. So I'm like, oh, yeah, that's been a dick. And then I'm like, right, okay. I know that that'll pass. Maybe I need to eat. Maybe I need to sleep. Maybe I need to pee. Because those are things that I get a little bit lost with when I'm, like, focused on my work. You know, maybe there's something else that needs to happen. Maybe it's rest. Maybe it's whatever. But, yeah. And it also comes up for me, like I said, when I'm in a period of growth. So if I'm doing something that feels outside my comfort zone, then it rears its head because it's like, no, stop it, that's not safe. Don't put yourself out there and do that. So it's just trying to protect me, really. But obviously it's not very useful when you're running your own business and you're supposed to push yourself out of your comfort zone.
Well, and yeah, because actually just what you were saying there, when you know, it can be like the growth thing you were talking about, going into a brand new job. You know, I made some other notes on different things, but you know, even identity changes, you know, not feeling like yourself. And this image, I always remember this image that really stuck with me.
Sorry, just the realisation that I had it all the way through, and I still have it all about motherhood. And that, like, oh, everyone else is better than this at me. That wasn't words, but you know what I meant.
Yeah.
Realisations. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
That was just
that's what came out, yeah. And actually how many other people will identify with that, because, well, there's a great example of a life transition, isn't it? Where, you know, I've never been in this place before. And it's like, we've often got really comfortable with where we're at. I mean, I suppose this might fit better with a job where you've got really comfortable with a job and you felt really good at it. And then you move into the new job. And rather than being, you know, you filled this space because with the knowledge and the experience and the skills, because that's the key, isn't it? So we're feeling
come to the edges,
more confident. Yeah, we come to the edges, and now that's where it's almost like this is the comfort zone, isn't
expansion.
it? So then the coming out of it. So this image that I saw that really helped me was this idea that you've got this comfortable space and you've filled this space, and now around it is this new space
that you're now going to grow.
Yeah, and that can feel really daunting. And I remember that being a trainer, watching people. I remember it physically myself, but I would see it when we were training, you know, brand new people who had come from all walks of life with incredible skills and knowledge and different roles that they'd done. And yet, within the first day of training them, we'd put them in, you know, this situation where we were telling them these new things. And so many people were like, I can't do this. I can't do it. And it was because of this fear that they weren't enough. And in essence, this is going to sound strange. You're not, because there's no way you're going to fill that new space. It's how we tell ourselves about that though, isn't it? Because it's rather than saying, do you know what? Respect to myself. I've got everything that I've brought with me, and now I'm going to go into this new space and I'm going to fill it.
Yeah.
We go, oh my God, I don't know any of this, I'm useless.
Yeah. It's a lack mindset instead. I saw a reel actually about that today. Could have been today, could have been any time in my life. Sorry, but it's true. And she was talking about the fact that, you know, when you start a job, you're never qualified for a job when you begin it. It's not until at least a year in that you become qualified for it. And if you just accepted that from the outset, and that's what we're talking about.
Exactly that.
Because how I expected, and this is the realization, isn't it, that as I became a mother, and what you said was exactly right, because I was comfortable in the person I was before. Like, I could keep myself alive, and I could keep myself clean, and I could keep my dogs alive, and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
And I was comfortable in it all. And then I had this tiny little fucking human that came out, you know, and needed more help anyway. And it was just this wildly difficult time of my life. And I'd never done it before. And also, even if you have done it before, by the time you do it a second time, your brain's forgotten all that stuff anyway. So, you know, you're doing this thing that feels really new, no matter which kid you're on. And you're expecting yourself to be at a point where you've got all of the knowledge that fills the bowl. So you've gone from this point where you had the knowledge of how to keep yourself alive and your dogs alive and maybe even a fish alive. Oh, that's a song, isn't it? Oh my God, a fish alive. Anyway, and now there's a circle around, and I'm going, well, I shouldn't be a mum because I don't have all of the knowledge to fill the circle. How ridiculous!
Yeah, no one becomes a mum, Lauren, with that filled.
Can you imagine?
Like, there isn't a single...
How many antenatal classes would I have had to join?
even a life transition for me from, you know, being... Well, think of the number of life transitions we've had.
Oh, don't.
Becoming business owners. On top of you becoming a mother. Yeah. On top of me suddenly, you know, either... There's a lot, again, empty nest syndrome. People talk about it. The flying the nest syndrome. It's that, you know, different ways to be able to look at it. But these life transitions that we go through, that, you know, actually we don't feel qualified to do. And yet, so I guess there is a little distinction, isn't it? Because some of these are quite natural ones that happen. And some of them, a bit like a job, doesn't often feel like a natural one. You know, you're spotted, you've got the qualities, the skills that are going to take you into this role. And now you're going to develop whilst you're in it.
Yeah.
And that's the part. And yet our brains, thanks brain, built for survival. Of course it is. So, you know, much more likely to look for the stuff that we're not good at. Here's our little bouncer with its list.
Yeah, but you look for the stuff you're not good at and you find the stuff.
And you find, Brené Brown. Yeah. Don't go looking in the world for you're not enough, because you'll find it. You'll find the evidence. And it's like, that's the bit, isn't it? So actually looking at what we believe, looking at what we allow in, and that filter, being able to change it.
Do you think that little shift in the thought pattern is enough to start changing it? So, because what I'm hearing is that instead of looking at, oh, here's the job description and going, I'm not qualified for that. Is the mindset shift? I can't say that word. Mindset shift of being like, oh, look at how much I can learn. Like, is that enough to start changing it? That's what I'm asking. So, because if you were someone, you know, listening to this and you've got imposter syndrome, and I'm, you know, recognizing that I'm in a moment where I'm going, oh, well, I don't know all of that information, I don't know all of this, and I don't know all of that, and I can't do that. Would that be enough to start shifting it, or would it be something else?
So my instant reaction when I was watching you there, I could feel myself like, because your hands are doing this.
Yeah, because that's where I go when I'm stressed. Is I go,
you're in your head. So for me, it was like, because I guess the first thing for me would be to acknowledge what I'm feeling, because the likelihood is there's some fear in there.
Yeah,
you know, maybe some worry, some anxiety around it, and for me, it's like being able to have some self-compassion with myself.
Yeah,
I think come back to what we've talked about before: mindful self-compassion. Notice it. What is going on?
Will there ever be anything this is not applicable to? Probably not.
No. I'm gonna. Do you think I said no often enough there? I genuinely leave all of them in, because no, there isn't any situation this isn't relevant to. Mindful self-compassion is an absolute key. And right, in fact, I'm going to give you a really good example of this with imposter syndrome. Right. Because when we first started in this business, I talked openly initially about, you know, very much coming on and doing lives about mindful self-compassion, because I really could see the impact that this practice had, that the kinder we could be to ourselves. And then something happened in our lives, and I just could not see that I had the qualities to now become this person that spoke about these things. How dare I speak about these things? Which is interesting, because literally the aggressiveness of that for myself, of like, how dare you? Okay. You know, and the minute that I feel stressed or pressured, I would go to compliance and say, yeah, you're right, I shouldn't talk about this. You know, even that this whole thing around visibility, mindful self-compassion is the thing that goes, okay, what am I actually feeling? What am I experiencing? the common humanity. How many other people in this situation who go into a new job would feel exactly the same? So that's part of that mindset shift.
Yeah.
Which is, and then it's there's now the kindness kicks in.
Yeah,
and the
what do I
kindness
need?
is, what do I need? Now I bring my fierce mama bear energy that I would give to anybody else. Because if I had a friend that had gone into a new job, I'd be like, you've done a week. That's enough to learn where the coffee cups are and where you're supposed to put your hat. I don't often wear a hat to
hat.
but your
All right,
coat,
you take your top hat off. Just
take your top hat off. Take
rack.
off your coat and your bag. And to know how to get onto the computer and what the systems are, leave the hat alone. But it's that, isn't it? And yet, how quickly... And also this whole thing about confidence. I always remember this whole thing about being a 10. That, you know, the minute you hear that you've got the job, you're at 10, aren't you? You're like, yay, I got the job. I'm amazing. Seconds later, you're on the floor going, oh, did they really mean me? Did they really mean me? Do you think, can I just go back?
Stupid?
Have you ever done that where you've gone back and checked the email or checked the message? Was that for me? Did they mention me by name? Is there any specifics in this? It's like, I think it can be quite a normal thing that happens. And we need to look what's underneath it.
Yeah. I have a real story where that happened.
A real
one.
boy now.
I'm a real boy. Well, I went for a job as a salesperson. You know those people who stand in the street and sell paintballing?
Yes.
I went for that job, and there was apparently 2 Laurens who got it. And on my first, and I got the job. And then the first day I turned up, and he was like, "Oh, I went for." He was like, "Lauren," and I was like, "Yeah, like you rang me and gave me the job," and he was like, "I meant to ring the pretty one." I know! How mean! And also, I can't believe you said that out loud, you rude motherfucker. Anyway, I did one day and I didn't go back. I shouldn't have stayed at all.
I'm not sure that's imposter syndrome, Lauren. That's a whole other kettle of
No,
fish.
my point being, you know, like you talk about, you check to see if it was the right person.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't.
Rude.
I was the wrong
rude,
person.
rude.
Wrong, Lauren.
Rude.
No.
And don't edit any of them out either.
I won't.
Because they needed
Rude.
That's a beautiful hat that you're wearing now.
I want to wear my top hat.
That's it.
Top of the
Coming back to
morning
what
to
we
you.
were saying though, so the whole validating it.
Yeah.
And I think even if it's a friend that's what I do with you, you know, tell me a little bit about it, what's going on, kind of, and then you're like, oh, it's this new thing or this is happening. Bearing in mind that I know the one person in my life that if I was to go, can you learn this? You would do it.
Yeah, I can't help myself.
And then, exactly. In fact, we will talk about something, and the next thing we know, you've got a 3-page presentation on it, on how we get over it. It's amazing. Everyone needs a Lauren.
Yeah.
So coming back to this though, the whole thing about being dysregulated, because that's what it does for us. So that noticing the feelings, noticing where that's taken me, because, you know, there's the fear, and I am going to link it to what you were saying about the mindset shift and is it enough to think I can grow in this role or I can gain all of those qualities? Because when I think we've talked about this before, the link for me is that when I'm dysregulated, and sometimes for good reason. I mean, I'd have been dysregulated in that situation and might actually have got quite angry. Because remember, none of this work that we're doing is about remaining calm. No, I want to learn what calm feels like, so I actually know when I am angry.
Yeah.
And when I am scared. That's what.
Yeah, because all of that's really important.
My voice has just got really loud because that's important.
Yeah.
This is not all the work that I do is not about producing people who are just calm. It is about people recognising when they're calm and then recognising when they're not prepared to tolerate the shit anymore.
No, because they already did that in the 50s, didn't they, when they were giving women Valium?
Yeah, so it's none of that. Actually, this is about being human. This is about the fact that I've been given this range of emotions and I want to be able to use them effectively. Thanks ever so much. Emotional. I was about to say education. Emotional education for me is huge.
Yeah.
And understanding that.
And actually, I quite like, because obviously we talk about the house analogy quite a lot. And when you were talking about, you know, just allowing this feeling in, one of the analogies that you talked about before, which I really like for people, and I imagine this sometimes, because it's uncomfortable to feel emotions. We talked about this right at the beginning of the podcast. We don't like the emotions, but that's fine because you don't have to stay with them forever. Because if you let them in, you can let them out again.
Equanimity.
All right.
Equanimity, that's what.
Yeah, so you open the front door,
Yeah.
but you also open the back door.
Allowing.
So you allow it in, it wanders through, tells you all about its troubles, and then it fucks back off. But it's all that thing, isn't it? Because logistically, when you're angry or when you're stressed or when you're tired or when you're upset or jealous or anything, they're telling you something. So your imposter syndrome is the same. Whatever that feeling is in that moment, if you're not good enough or whatever, it's telling you something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's telling you that you really care.
Exactly. That I really care about this job and it matters to me, and you know what, it's important.
This is really important to me. It's important to me to do well because actually this really matters. And that's the thing with this business. I hit imposter syndrome all of the time because in 10, 15 years time, I still want to be doing this. I want this to have longevity. I want it to build and grow and us to learn and for this to continue. And it matters to me. Because if it didn't, I probably wouldn't get imposter syndrome over it.
And I was... I was reading some stuff about this myself, and that because I get it. I have these just moments where I'm like, who am I? Who am I to be stood in this?
Who are we to have a podcast?
Yeah, to have a podcast and to stand in this situation where I'm offering leadership coaching or, and I look at all of these people and then I'm like, no, hang on a second, hang on. No, I've got qualifications, I've got skills that I've learned, and I've got more stuff to learn. In fact, I just had a brilliant conversation with an Uber driver who said we were talking about different things, and I said I do, weird. And I said, you know what, I am somebody that loves to learn. I think you never stop learning, and for me, it's about being able to share that with people. And he was like, I love that. And I wrote something down that I read earlier because it's about learning to feel safe in our own brilliance.
Oh, I love that.
I thought you might like that. Learning to feel safe in our own brilliance. So that safety in like understanding this is what I come with. I just recently had a client that I was working with on this, and we were looking at strengths, and we did a bit of a career timeline because it felt really appropriate in the moment for what this person was asking for and where they were searching. So I made a suggestion. They were like, yeah, we'll jump in. So we did. And this whole idea, I love it, of having like a backpack on and you're going to now walk your career timeline and observing it and throwing in this backpack all this stuff that you want to bring with you that just and we got to the end of this and this person was sat across from me honestly glowing because they were like, oh my word, I hadn't even
so much.
Well, that, and I didn't realise that's what I took from this. I didn't realise that was a part of me, and that's what I brought to that situation. So they'd experienced this imposter syndrome. Who am I to be in this role? But I would say that some of that is recognising what you're experiencing emotional, the comparison to other people.
Yeah.
Because, we know comparison is definitely the thief of joy.
Yeah. A little bit.
And it's unless it's, sometimes I like comparing myself to myself because that's the only person I can compare to. Me of now and me of 12 months ago. As long as I do it in a nice way. Here's the thing though, that this client was like, this has just given me a different perspective. And that thing, learn to feel safe in our own brilliance.
I love that sentence.
I do love that. And then this link with regulation, being able to notice what state I'm in.
Yeah.
So that's where the feelings for me link in with that.
Yeah.
If I'm telling myself I'm feeling overwhelmed with all of this, I'm in dorsal vagal, I need to move. I need to bring some energy back to myself and I need to get myself like up and, do something. Yeah, that just allows me to begin to segue my way back through the states.
I don't think I've ever said the word segue in my life, and we've said it about 7 times in this single podcast.
Can I say sequential as well, because I love that?
Sequential.
That's sequential. That's what I actually meant, not segue, but sequential. Sequential is it's the order in which it's a particular order. But it is that, and it's like, being able to bring some energy to it and look at it like that mama bear, because mama bear energy isn't calm. I need to get myself going. Like I'm literally doing that right now. My, accessing my sympathetic nervous system to get my heart rate going a bit more and be able to talk about me in that way.
But
understanding it.
Get imposter syndrome, and here's a random tip for you. If you get imposter syndrome and freak out a little bit before you go on social media, film a reel or a story or a live.
I never do that.
You dance before. Stick on your favourite song, a minute if that of dancing, and you will come on probably a little bit sweaty, but the people on the other side of the camera will feel your energy. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're just pulling yourself out of that state where you're afraid of it. So 10 out of 10. As
timekeeper.
I'm committing to doing something scary for our business.
Are
I
you?
haven't told you about this yet.
I have to manage my face now.
I wrote last week a pitch. So you know that I've been doing this main event thing. I've got this entire new vibe for my business, for the side that I do, which I'm loving it. It's changing everything. And I am going to pitch myself to places in Nottingham that support founders and business owners. So I've got a list of them that I'm going to pitch to, and I'm going to reach out and I'm going to offer myself as a mentor for founders, the newbies, to support them with starting their business, using the main event, but also and support with social media and marketing. And I'm going to offer to do free workshops for these individual people where I go in and I stand in front of founders and I go, this is what, and it's all about the main event and understanding your business from the beginning and who you are and how that fits and all that kind of stuff, so you can build a business that you love. So I've got an email and I'm working on a PDF that I can send along with it, and like who I am and all that kind of stuff. And imposter syndrome is fucking real while I'm doing it, because it's like, the fuck are you going to stand in front of founders? Like, what, like you own a business? Yeah, I do, bitch!
I was about to go, hang on a second, yeah.
That was probably really loud and high-pitched in your ears, and I'm so sorry.
I think that's amazing.
But yeah,
two
I'm doing
things.
that.
Two things then. One is, yay.
I know.
And I love it.
I'm so
and
excited.
Absolutely. And there's only one way to learn, is to go and do it.
My theory is they don't say no.
Exactly. Well, yeah, they can only say no.
My theory is I'd say yes. Yeah. If I was them and I read it, I'd be like, actually, this sounds amazing.
After the whole thing of creating this main event thing,
I'm so excited.
Which is, we'll do more on this later, but it's been absolutely brilliant. Lauren, if your part of the business was an event, what would it be?
Mine is a warehouse craft fair keynote speech, just fucking wild event where you come in whatever you want to wear. I've got wide-legged dark green trousers on with big pockets and a crisp white t-shirt and really curly hair and my glasses. And you come in and there's a big map. It's not a list, it's a map. Like when you go to theme park, you get a theme park map. It's a map. And you come into my event and there's loads of things. There's crafting and storytelling, and it's all about your business and getting you to remember who the fuck you are. And do you know what it's called? It's called the Letdown Club. It's called the Letdown Club. And it's for people who were probably told they were going to be brilliant all of their lives as a kid. Like all of the teachers and everyone, their parents were like, oh, you'll be a doctor or an astronaut, or you're just so amazing, you've got so much potential. And then somehow imposter syndrome comes along and it ticks away and it ticks away and it ticks away. And somehow, so I'm sat here with, I've got a physics degree, I've got a business, I've got a little boy who's amazing. And, I was the youngest manager in Newcastle at one point in my life. Like, I've done so much stuff throughout my life. And even then, my brain was like, I can't remember any of them, but I have done so many amazing things. And you somehow get to a point where on paper, all of your accolades are there. And yet in your brain, you feel like a letdown. So the Letdown Club, my main event, is a place for the people who are done with being the letdown, and not from a position where it's like, I'm not letting people down anymore. It's from the position where you realise that you're not living your life for anyone else. There's nobody to let down. When you realise that you're living your life and building your business for yourself or for us, like, we can't let anyone down because this is our business. Do you know what I mean? Like, and we're building this our way. And it just makes everything easier. Makes social media better. It makes building offers better. Like, I am... Well, I'm going to have to coin the main event because it's fucking 10 out of 10.
Yes, now I'm not going to go into as much detail as Lauren.
No, but what's yours? Tell me
so
what
mine
yours
is definitely Glastonbury meets.
A festival.
Like, it is a festival. It's that feel. And no VIP. No VIP.
Yeah, no, you don't get to pay extra.
Really important to me.
Everyone's on the same
Everyone's
level.
welcome. Yeah. Everybody. And particularly women. So for me, it's particularly women, though, who on the outside, everyone's like, oh, they've got it all together. And inside, they feel like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, they do not feel like that. Like, your insides and your outsides don't match.
Yeah.
And it's, for me, it's that.
Yeah.
It's like where you're constantly second guessing yourself, or, this whole thing about, things like imposter syndrome, just not
Yeah.
understanding who you are and what qualities you bring to things, you know, all of that. So there's more on that coming, because I'm literally in the process of bringing mine together.
So excited.
But I did want to mention it because actually I think it's absolutely genius, Lauren. And I know that we've both got really excited about it and how it's going to change things.
I've built a new tool for it today. You
brilliant.
should reach out to me if you want it, because
really?
it's fucking amazing.
Can I be first, please?
Yes.
Cool.
You've already got access to it.
Obviously,
You
you've
haven't
got
read the email
2
yet.
days. I know I haven't yet. I was here.
So she got it this morning when I first made it. I would just like to point out that she gets everything first.
I do. As I'm about to say, rightly so.
Yeah, rightly so.
You get everything.
And then the membership, and then everyone else it trickles down into. Yeah,
But also, Lauren, I would just like to take a moment, because by the time this goes out, it will the 100-day challenge
will have finished.
that you
Finishes
hang on a
tomorrow or
second.
Wednesday,
It does.
sorry.
So it's a couple of days. I did want to just stop you for a second, only because I do want to say this, that how proud I am of you and for you, because that as a challenge where you brought in over 30 people, wasn't it, that came into this challenge?
Yeah.
And it was posted every
First
single
ever
day
time.
with all of these different
So it's a prompt
hooks and
every single
prompts.
day for 100 days to get you to sell your offer. And I have done every single day apart
You
from
have.
one earlier when I was poorly, which obviously is fine. And people have dipped in and out, and some people have been quite on top of it, and some people haven't. But it's really it's been impactful, but it's been massively impactful on me more than anyone else. But I did it for me first anyway, and I just invited everyone else on the journey because I was like, let's do it all together. But I've like figured my niche out from it. Like I've learned what I hate. I've learned more about my content. I've hit points where I've been like, this just isn't me. Like I've learned about my voice. So it's been incredibly powerful. And interestingly, when my brain realised what you were going to say and be like, oh, well done, my brain was like, it's not very good though. So yeah, so in that moment right there, I got imposter syndrome about it. Even though I have managed all 100 days, that is the biggest automation I've ever built in my life. Can never do that again.
Do you know? Okay, we do giggle that often our conversations end up coachy. Bearing in mind, I don't
Coachy?
coach you because
Ethically,
it would
that'd
not
be
be
strange.
ethically right as your mother. I even though noticing the change in the tone of your voice and the little voice that said it, that so it's not, doesn't feel like it embodies who you are at the moment. There's somebody there. What's that?
Do you know who it
Part
is?
of you. Go on, what? Who?
Oh my god, you love Enchanted with Amy, what's her face, and McDreamy.
Oh yeah.
You know the film where she's the princess from Andalasia and she comes to the
Amy
real world.
Adams.
Amy
I
Adams, that's her name. I
adore
adore her.
that
I love her so
film.
much. That film, but there's the little,
Is it the chipmunk?
the little chipmunk who's like, "You want an apple?" And then he's like, "It's a good." And he's trying to get her to eat the poisoned apple. That's who mine is. You should have this.
He's not a very nice one then, is he? He spent too much time with the Queen.
Yeah, he's giving me poisoned apples about all my hard work.
Wow.
Mother, help me.
Wow. Do you know what though? It's, if we were going to go even further into that, because there's
God.
a little part of me that don't do that anymore. But that's the bit that it's like, what's that? What's he trying to tell you and what's he trying to protect you from?
Yeah, it's
the me, me,
failure,
me, me.
isn't it?
It is failure.
Yeah, because for me,
Don't
it's like
get too
it's, and
big-headed.
it's the fraud.
Yeah.
So my big fear, and I think I talked about this in like a podcast like 2 ago. My fear is being called out for being a liar, and I don't know where that's come from, and I'm sure that at some point I'll delve into that. But mine is that, you know, I'll go and stand up in front of these women, and I say women, but for me, like it is anyone who embodies that. Do you know what it is for me? It isn't women. It's people who are willing to sit in empathy. It's people who are willing to be open. It's people who are willing to be emotional. And that could be anyone of any gender, transgender, non-binary, whoever that is. It's not about identifying as a woman, but it's about not identifying as a prick. Like, sorry, but it is. Do you know what I mean? You know, there's people, there's fucking people who start podcasts. No, sorry.
What? It goes. No.
What
Okay.
was I saying?
Yeah. It's about who it identifies with.
Yeah, and it's you know, and I want to stand in front of these people because, and I'm going to say this with my shoulders back, I know that what I am currently developing can help people in their business. Like, I've got to put my chest back and my shoulders back when I say that, because there's part of me that wants to be like, there he is, the little fucking chipmunk who's trying to tell me otherwise. But I know it. I know that what I'm doing, and I know that I'm good at social media, and I know that I can help people with their message, and I know all of these things. but there is a fear that someone in the audience is going to be like, well, this is shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's that fear of being called out or being like, well, you don't have thousands of followers online yet. And I'll be like, yeah, I know, but I'm not even a year old yet, baby.
You don't need thousands. It's
No,
not even
no,
that.
I know.
There's all of those things, aren't there, that are like myths. And also, I do love the saying that you're not everybody's cup of tea. That's because I'm champagne. Thanks ever so much.
Did you see David's T-shirt? My husband's T-shirt yesterday. He had that on the back.
Is that what was written on the back?
It's what it said on the back. It said, I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
I love that. But also I do like the extra bit that says, that's because I'm champagne. I do love that.
Oh, fizzy.
That's because I'm... And yet it's that, isn't it? So it's almost how often do we have that little voice? And it is this bit, and I am going to come back to positive intelligence because I've just been working again with a great leadership team. I'm open to working with more leadership teams if anybody's on them, and you do want to change the dynamic of how your team works, and how they connect to each other better, and also how they shut down and intercept a lot of this sabotage to become much more successful. So it's that for me.
Quickest advert you've ever heard.
Exactly.
On Spotify.
So, but watching that. With positive intelligence and that whole bit, how it just to shut down and acknowledge that it's happening, but almost it's like, it's okay, thanks ever so much for being there for me. I know you try to protect me. Here's the thing, I'm going to go this way.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need it.
It's like, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. That's the bit to
No, I don't want the poison apple. Thank you very much, Tiny Chipmunk.
I cannot now not see that.
And I'm going to find the clip. And then he goes, it's a good.
I've got some questions just for us to finish off with this, because obviously it's about how many people listening to this feel similar to some of the things that we've described. We also know that some people have asked us to talk about this. So again, thank you for listening.
Yeah, we love our suggestions.
And keep genuinely going. Tell us if there's anything else you'd like us to talk about. With that way as well. So question 1, who benefits when you stay small and silent?
The patriarchy.
Okay.
Sorry, I did a TikTok the other day that was like, any time that you find yourself with a voice in your head that's telling you to stay small or not do the thing or not be brave, the patriarchy benefits.
Somewhere in either the last conversation or this one, I was on that route to talk about why it's important.
Yeah.
That we get out of our own way sometimes with this stuff because we're not speaking up.
Yeah.
And I saw the most beautiful reel today. I'll share it actually, which was a 75-year-old woman sat on the steps. I think she was about to be arrested for speaking out about the horrific things that are happening in the world at the moment, in Palestine and different places. And she literally, the speech was beautiful. She is talking about, she worked in education, that actually the whole thing about George Orwell and noticing where we're going, and that, we live in a democracy, freedom of speech, all of that, and that ultimately what would happen, the tyranny that we would lead into. And it's that, isn't it? How many of us are not feeling safe to speak up and say what we want to say, and yet that's what we need to do.
Yeah, actually, this moment when we're the most uncomfortable is when it's most needed.
Yeah, so that question, who benefits when you stay small and silent? Yeah. And often that's what I feel that's what can happen when we feel this imposter syndrome come on, because we don't want to show people. It's very vulnerable to say to somebody, I'm struggling with this, or I'm finding this really hard.
Or if we go back to talking about getting the new job, who benefits if you let imposter syndrome stop you from going for it? The other applicant.
Yes.
Fuck them.
God love them. Let's hope they've got another job as well. What truth are you afraid others might discover?
Is it really a truth?
That's the thing, isn't it? But that's often how it feels in our head.
Because mine's like the fraud one, because we just talked about that. But I'm not a fraud.
And what truth are you longing for them to see?
Oh, that I'm really good at what I do.
Oh, listen to the difference in your voice.
I know, but I am. I'm really good at what I do, and I just want someone to see it and go, yeah, you're right.
I would love people to answer these as well for us. So what?
Yeah, she's not asking me. Sorry, I just can't help myself.
No, but I love it that you are answering. Who benefits when you stay small and silent? What truth are you afraid others might discover?
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, as Lauren rightly says, that doesn't mean it's a truth.
Yeah.
And what truth are you longing for them to see? And then the final, there's 2 bits to this one. What part of you feels like an imposter? I don't know if you've got an answer for that.
No.
And then what does it need?
Oh, I like that one. Do you know, we've talked about mine, because mine's the version of me that she knew she was clever and she knew she was all of this kind of stuff, and then everyone just told her she was pretty. And then I've grown and I've had a baby and I've changed and all of that. She's the version. And she just needs me to back her. I think that's it. I think it's because it'd be very easy for the things I've created, you know, in my Google Drive to sit there and just not be talked about and not be thing. But I've fucking said it out loud on a podcast now. What a dick. So I'm going to have to do it. And that's one of the reasons I did the 100 days of selling out loud with a group.
Yeah.
Because it was about the accountability of it. And I think that's one of the things that people don't realise they're missing in a lot of things is accountability.
Yeah.
That's why I started the membership as well. Because actually saying you're going to do something out loud makes it more likely to happen. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. You know, when you write down a goal, you're 95% more likely to complete it.
Yeah.
So why not just fucking say it and go for it?
Yeah, because interesting, I hadn't thought about answering the questions. Who benefits when you stay small and silent are the people who have very strong beliefs about things, who potentially may change their opinions if you were to share yours.
Yeah.
I'm just going to mention the Human Library, which is, if people have never heard of it,
Where you go and sit with a human and
you
they
sit
tell
with
you
a human
story.
instead of a book.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you go and take a book out of a library. So it's the
I'd love to do that.
honestly, they do it in London sometimes.
Shall we
I've
go?
just never got there or got to the ones online. It is across the world. It's a global organisation. I think we should share it in
try it.
the notes, the link for it.
We'll also
But
try
the
and go.
beauty of going and speaking to somebody who's homeless, someone who's been in prison, someone who is an immigrant, somebody is all of these different
And just finally getting the
people
different
and
perspectives.
asking questions, because actually that's the bit, isn't it, about being able to open up. That's the key. That's why that's really important.
Yeah.
So for me, that's who benefits. It's the people who are potentially not willing to listen unless they hear someone who's passionate about something, because often that's when that happens. You begin to see it potentially. What truth are you afraid others might discover that I'm just not very good? That's a biggie for me.
Yeah.
And what truth are you longing for them to see that I'm worth it? That it's interesting for me, that one, when I said it. So actually it's not exactly as strong as it would have been, because I know I'm worth it. I'm worth it, L'Oreal. And actually, some point I wanted to come back to talk about the difference between self-esteem and self-worth. Self-esteem is external, self-worth is an internal job, which is why that's important. Because often we think that it matters what everybody thinks about us, and actually what matters most is what we think. And then the final one, what part of you feels like an imposter? Rather than answering that, I'm going to answer the bit that says, what does it need? It needs to know that its voice matters.
Look at that, we've brought it right back around to know you matter. Aren't we good at that,
We're getting good, aren't we?
Aren't we?
Gooder.
Gooder.
We are
I love that.
expanding the English dictionary.
Yeah, come answer our questions, please, and give us more things to talk about, because we love that.
Yeah, we do.
I'm excited for next time.
Me too. Anyway,
Bye.
you take care.
See ya.
Oh, blunt to
Sorry.
the point, love.
Arrivederci. Please have a great weekend. When do we release it? I don't know.
Tuesdays.
Have a lovely Tuesday, Wednesday, whenever you're listening to this. I don't
Can I
fucking know.
also say a huge thank you to everybody that messages me?
Yeah,
and
we love
goes,
it.
Tuesday,
It's
it's nearly Tuesday. And we will advertise it as well, because I forget, and Lauren, God love you, you are the one that keeps us going by telling people.
And I didn't
that
last
the
week because I was
podcast
just
is
too
here.
busy.
Yeah.
I did though. I did it on Threads. Anyway, not the point. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.